Surrender yourself completely to God. Teachings of Ramana Maharshi. The true meaning of surrender. Ramana Maharshi often emphasized surrender, prapatti, as a direct and effective path to liberation. He taught that the ego is the root cause of all suffering, and surrendering to God means letting go of the ego and allowing the divine will to guide our lives. He said, "Surrender yourself completely to God. Let Him look after you, and all will be well." This surrender is not passive resignation, but a profound act of trust and inner stillness. When we surrender, we stop resisting the flow of life and recognize that everything is happening according to a higher intelligence. Ramana made it clear that surrender does not mean escaping responsibilities, but performing all actions without attachment to the results. By relinquishing the false sense of doership, we attain peace and freedom from anxiety. Surrender and the dissolution of ego. One of Ramana Maharshi's most significant teachings on surrender is that it leads to the dissolution of the ego. He said, "Surrender is giving oneself up to the original cause of one's being. Do not delude yourself by imagining such source to be some God outside you. Your source is within yourself. Give yourself up to it." This means that true surrender is not merely an external act of devotion, but an inner recognition that our real nature is divine. The ego constantly tries to control and manipulate life, but surrender means recognizing that we are not the doers. When we let go of this false identity, the self shines forth in its full glory. Ramana often advised seekers to either engage in self-inquiry or surrender completely, as both paths lead to the same realization. Surrender is beyond form and belief. Ramana Maharshi also explained that surrender does not require belief in a personal God in any specific form. He said, God assumes any form imagined by the devotee and manifests according to the devotee's conception. This means that surrender can be directed to a personal deity, a formless divine presence, or even to the Guru as an embodiment of divine grace. He frequently mentioned that for those who find self-inquiry difficult, surrender is an equally powerful means of attaining liberation. He reassured seekers that once they surrender fully, the divine intelligence takes complete care of them, just as the ocean carries a river to its destination without effort. The key is to surrender unconditionally, without demands or expectations. Surrender is not loss, but true freedom. Many people fear that surrender means losing their individuality or giving up everything they love. But Ramana clarified that true surrender only dissolves the false self. He said, once you have given yourself up entirely, you have nothing more to do. You can remain wherever you are and do whatever you like. This means that surrender does not change external circumstances, but changes our relationship with them. When we surrender, we no longer act from a place of fear, desire, or ego, but from a state of inner harmony. Actions become effortless, and we experience a deep trust that everything unfolds as it should. This surrender brings a profound inner peace, as we no longer struggle against the flow of life. The ultimate realization through surrender. In conclusion, Ramana Maharshi's teaching on surrender is a path to absolute peace and liberation. By surrendering completely to God, we transcend the illusion of control and merge with the divine will. He assured seekers that once surrender is complete, all burdens are lifted, and life becomes an effortless flow. As he beautifully said, if one surrenders oneself completely to God, He will take care of everything. The essence of surrender is not inaction, but the surrender of the false self, allowing the real self to shine forth. When we give up our ego-driven struggles, we realize that we were never separate from the divine to begin with. True surrender leads to the highest state of freedom, abiding in the self, beyond all dualities of joy and sorrow, gain and loss, life and death.